Hey Ramchandra, please tell us a bit about where you are from in India, where you are studying abroad, which course, country, university.
My name is Ramchandra Kulkarni. I am from Karnataka, India. I am pursuing my master's in information technology from Arizona State University. Currently, I am
Great.
in Arizona
Great.
pursuing my master's. Started my master's career one and a half month ago. That was on August 22nd. It's 1 month totally, but I have been here in Arizona for last 2 months.
That's great. So you're living in Tempe.
Yes, I am in there.
Great. So how far are you living from the university?
From the university, I am a mile away. That's 1.5 kilometer.
Great.
Converted to.
So tell us a bit about how did you find your accommodation, how much does it cost, is it a sharing kind of, and all of these things.
So technically, the accommodation was found by a few seniors. So we took help from a few seniors who were staying there, staying in this particular house before to our arrival. And spending for the rent and everything comes to around nearly 6 to 700 US dollars per month per person, and we are staying in a 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom apartment that is of four sharing. 4 people are there in one apartment.
So even with four sharing, the rent is $600 to $700.
Oh yes. So actually, the place that we are staying in is the cheaper one.
Oh,
I would say this is the average cost that is the transit type. The highest of cost reach around 1,000 per person in there.
oh, great. And that too, even in sharing.
Even in sharing, a four sharing apartment.
Great. So what would be the name of the apartments you are staying in?
So I currently am in an apartment called Agave.
Okay.
It's a closed apartment, a gated community near, as I mentioned, 1.5 kilometer away from the university. There are other apartments that are closer to the university campus, but the prices run a little bit higher on that.
Right, I understand. Let's finish on the accommodation piece. So you reached out to some seniors on Facebook or LinkedIn anywhere, and you asked them for help, and there was a flat which they were vacating, and you guys took it.
What exactly happened was I had a couple of seniors from both my college as well as my professional office. So I contacted them itself. I took help from them, and since they were moving from this particular apartment as the lease ended, so we continued that same lease to till date.
Oh,
So we
great.
got the same lease for a year.
So, so you would have found three other people to share the apartment with you for the.
Technically, yes. From my same place, I have one of my childhood friend who's staying with me. So we both applied to the same course in the same university, got admitted from the same course.
Great.
So we both flew together. The other two we found through other career sources that ASU provides, career fairs that back in India. ASU holds career resource fairs where each and every student from ASU meets the other students that are coming to ASU in the next semester.
Yeah.
So that's how we found the next two. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So what were the first few things you had to buy after just to settle up?
So one technical thing to every person is that whenever a person is moving into any of the apartment in the United States, if it is not a luxury apartment that comes as furnished, everything has to be bought. Everything has to be bought technically. You won't even get a bed or anything at all. The only thing that they provide is 2 bulbs in the entire apartment. That's it. The rest of the bulbs are also bought by the students itself.
Oh, so how much was the expense to set up the apartment for you?
So initial expense, I would say, including everything that a person needs, would gather up around 500 to 600 apart from the rent that we are paying. So everything has to be bought separately, including the groceries, the beds, the comfort,
The bag,
every
boxes, and
individual-
everything, right?
every individual thing that is necessary for a person to survive has to be bought separately. If it is not bought from India when you are packing, then it is to be bought in here in US. And one suggestion that I would say for the new people that are applying to any of the universities, please bring as much as stuff you can from India.
Okay.
It's a very, very costly area.
Yeah. You would have put some accommodation deposit to secure the
Right.
house. How much was that?
So the deposit, there were two options. Ideally, how the apartments go, I would say in Arizona and other neighboring states of Arizona, they have a policy that if deposit is paid directly upfront, it has a 1.5 months rent. If it is not paid upfront, they take a certain amount of charge every month from the account for the rest of the period of the lease. So let's say, for example, our apartment is 2,400. So if we are to pay the upfront charges, that is going to be 3,600 in the deposit. But for us, it's getting converted into that 3,600 will be converted as a monthly charge for the rest of the 12 months of our entire lease period.
Okay.
So that's how they manage. Either you pay upfront or you pay monthly wise.
Oh, that's
The thing
easier.
is, yeah, and the only concern with that is if you are paying upfront, you get a 50% discount. After you stay there for 3 months, they provide the 50% back. But if you are choosing for the monthly plan, everything is being occupied by the renter itself.
Great. So, and how much is the utility like electricity and Wi-Fi bill?
Considering the utilities, there are three certain major divides. I'd say one is the electricity, that's the first thing. Second thing is internet, that includes both Wi-Fi as well as the mobile recharge that we do. The third thing is water. So combining the utility, electricity and water, the bills are charged by the renter itself, the apartment facility. Wi-Fi and mobile recharge are the things that are supposed to be done by the resident itself.
So, if you split, like how much is your electricity and water coming every month?
So, I would say the first half of the utilities that are being charged by the apartment complex are around 100 to 120
Per person
And the
or
second-
for all?
per person.
Okay. And second part?
And the second part, what we are talking about, the Wi-Fi and the internet, it comes to around 25 to 30 per person every month.
So,
So the utility is in the place that I am, the APS, Arizona Power Supply, they do take a deposit of $111, which they charge at the start of the month. They deposit that back to us, the primary source of payment, at the end of the month. So technically, we are only paying the buffer amount that is currently there. So for example, let's say if we got a bill of $120, 111, that's 111 will be deposited back to us. We got an electrical bill of 19 only, but at start we need to pay that 120 whole.
great.
That's a problem.
Great. So, it's around $600 for the rent, 120 for part 1 utility, that is electricity and water, around $30 for Wi-Fi and mobile. So, we have already reached $750 as the fixed expenses.
750, yes.
Yeah. So, then how much would be your food expenses every month?
For food expenses, I would say if you are cooking every day in the home, that's what we do. So the groceries come to around $150 to $200 per person per month. So that's somewhere around 800 per house.
It's $200 per person if you're cooking in house, and let's say you have 5 meals outside, so per meal would be around $25.
Around 25 easy. Anywhere around more than 20 for sure.
So we have easily reached 750 plus 200 is 950, so around 1050 or 1100 is quite normal. And how much would be your transportation cost?
So transportation, there comes a clause. The place that I currently stay in Tempe, it has a free transportation service available throughout the city. That's called orbit buses. There are different orbit, Mars, Earth, Mercury, Venus, and everything. So they provide free transportation to every person that boards the bus. Apart from those mass orbit buses, they have a free metro as well as free transportation in different campus locations because the university that I currently am, ASU, provides a free shuttle service. So transportation is technically free unless and until we are taking any cab or any other.
Transportation is not a major expense.
It's not a major expense.
Oh, that's great. So anywhere we are talking about $1,200 a month spent for studying in an ASU at a lower end. That's the basic and average.
I would say in a average end.
Right.
So there are things that you can manage even below to that price, but then the survival is at question in that point.
Right.
That's it.
So how are you finding the people around you? How is there a lot of Indian community or it's a mixed culture? How is it?
It is a mixed culture, but majority are Indians. Around 60 to 70% are Indians, and the rest of the 30% is divided among majority of the other countries. We got China, Taiwan, we got Russia, we got the other states people from US studying here at ASU. We got Korea. Every other culture is mixed, and the place that I study in. So my campus is different. The course that I have, MS in IT, has a campus called Polytechnic Campus. It's under the School of Engineering, IR Appleton School of Engineering. So that has a diversity rate of 20% for each of the community. So that place, each of our class have around 20% of Indians, and the rest of the 80% is contributed to every other country in the world.
Oh, that's great.
So there are multiple people.
Let's also talk about your admission process. How did you get, what was the process of taking admission to ASU?
So the process of taking the admission to ASU, my process started back in August. So what I did was, August 23 was the date that I decided that I wanted to go to Masters in this fall. So I took my IELTS first, which was held on November 22nd. And IELTS took around 7 days to arrive, the result. After I received the IELTS result and I got the point of contact where I should send the IELTS result back to the universities when I am applying. So ASU has a procedure of, if you are partnered with any other educational institutes, there is a certain agency in India that books ASU slots for students, which is a free of cost. So if a student wants to do that route, they can choose the agency. If the student directly wants to apply for the university by their own self-will, we have to pay $125 registration cost. That's the application fees that ASU charges.
Okay.
So that's what it is. And if the student is applying from that institute, the records and all the educational things are supposed to be shared to the institute and are supposed to be sent in a physical copy to the ASU as well. So currently for my intake, ASU did not ask me any of the records because I already had everything in a VES. So they did the VES actually.
Okay. You applied on yourself? So you did the application. So GRE scores were not required?
So there are certain courses that require GRE and there's certain courses that does not require GRE. My course that I currently am enrolled in was not needed a GRE score, but I had applied for other courses as well in ASU for which the GRE was mandated. So I wrote both the GRE as well as IELTS, but I wrote GRE a little bit late because the course that I opted in the first half was MS in IT, which did not require the GRE. And then again I opted for CS and software engineering, but those two needed GRE for that, so I wrote the GRE in January 24.
So what is the total cost of your education?
So coming up to the total cost, it comes around 65 to 70 lakhs for whatever amount that I have spent starting with the applications till the completion of my graduation, including everything.
And how are you managing the cost? Have you taken any loan?
So yeah, I have taken loan from HDFC Credila of 60 lakhs and I have my personal savings of 20 lakhs. So I'm managing in a combination of those both.
Okay. So mostly you have taken loan for the tuition fee.
Correct. Tuition.
Okay, and then your own savings which you are using for your other expenses.
Living and other expenses. Yeah.
So how are you paying the college fee? Are you transferring the funds from Credila to there?
So mine is a non-collateral loan where they transfer the amount to the co-applicant, which is my father. He has signed for the assurance. So they have transferred the money from my father's account, and from my father's account, it's a wire transfer to the university because I had a scholarship that was pending. And for the scholarship to be approved, the amount of the rest for tuition has to be paid via wire transfer. It is not supported with any other card transfer or any other
Yeah, I
ways.
understand.
So what I did was half part of that was paid through wire transfer and half part of that was paid through Niyo. The debit one.
Oh, that's great. So in the wire transfer, you would have faced certain charges, right? Like how much were they on every dollar? How much did you pay extra?
I do remember the time when I initiated the wire transfer. It was 83.47 back in India for each dollar. And for the wire transfer, for each dollar that I'm spending, I had to pay 84.67. So, nearly around 95,
1 rupee, almost 1 rupee.
almost 1 rupee.
Plus-
95 to 1.
Plus the SWIFT charges and GST is separate.
GST and SWIFT charges, I got around 8,500 for the entire tuition.
Yeah, so if you include that in this, it would come around 2 to 3 rupees extra on every dollar.
23 rupees extra. Yes.
Great. Yeah, so at Niyo, we have also started remittance services this year only. So you can transfer your funds via Niyo. And
Right.
here, the SWIFT charges will be reversed in Niyo coins. There will be no service charge.
Right.
So you'll save a lot there. There will be forex markup because this is not Niyo card. This is a wire transfer, which
Right.
occurs some cost, but the charges would still be much lower than the market. So right now, when you are paying around 3 rupees to 4 rupees on every dollar, there you will be only paying at max 50 paisa to 1 rupee on every dollar. So
Right.
that is a new update from us. Great. Where have you used Niyo card? Now let's come to that part.
I spent all of my spendings through two major cards that I hold. So one was Niyo before to coming here in United States, and when I arrived, I opened a Chase account, so I'm using that Chase card. These are the two primary cards that I used for all the way till here to the US.
Great.
Niyo was my primary card.
So you do all your initial spendings with Niyo only.
I did. For around 15 to 20 days till I get my Chase card, I use Niyo only. Here also in the United States.
And after that, like when you have to get your funds from India and use them, are you using them on Niyo or what are you doing?
What I am doing is, I have two different phones through which I have signed up for my account. What I am doing, I am directing my father to transfer the funds to my Niyo account. And from that Niyo account, I am converting the funds from INR to USD and I am withdrawing them here in the United States.
You can also go to Chase Bank. You can also go to Chase Bank and ask them to swipe your card.
Correct.
And
So
then,
I'm taking that card to Chase and adding that money from Niyo card to my Chase account and spending from the Chase account.
so it's free of cost, right? So
Technically it is free.
yeah, so you are actually saving anywhere 4 to 5% on your entire at least living expense spends, because sending money to Niyo account is free. From Niyo accounts to Chase account, you swipe the card, it's free.
It's free.
That's great. So you're managing your funds quite nicely.
Technically yes.
How's the weather right now?
Oh, it's hot.
You are getting those heat alerts in your phone?
I am getting heat alerts every day in my phone.
Right, your phone starts
So
beeping.
actually
boom,
what
boom.
happens is, for example, for a person who's living in India, for a person like me, I come from a background of Bangalore, a very cool and breezy weather. Coming from that weather to a desert-like weather is totally different. So if a person wants to feel the temperature of Tempe,
Go to Jaisalmer
Tempe,
once.
uh, which Gujarat and Rajasthan deserts. Absolutely terrified of the heat.
Great. But yeah, you have ACs everywhere, so till you're inside, it's
Yes.
good.
So, what happens is, right in front of my apartment complex, the bus stop, and right in front of the bus stop are shuttle cars. So, whatever we are doing and wherever we are moving, AC is always there for us. So, we technically need to step out of the AC for around 5 to 10 minutes just so we board the
It's a
bus or
transit.
any other vehicle. That in between transportation itself is the heat. That's it.
That's great.
Just using AC only.
Great, man. Thank you for your time. We'll connect with you again. Have a good day and good luck.